What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video. As you guys can see by the title, we are doing another flashback review, going in time and doing a basic bar for bar on just any older battle. And with the Redemption 2 card coming up February 18th, full card predictions coming out once that full card is dropped. But with that sequel on the way, I thought it was good to go back and do a flashback review on the first Redemption event. Actually, a pretty decent event overall. I actually have covered Tay-Rock versus Briz Rothstein, which would have been my first choice to cover on that card. That's Danny and Rex, which is just Danny beating Rex, the whole 12K fiasco. Chilla Jones, Body and Prep. Couple battles of that nature, but the two top battles were Rock and Briz, which I covered in the Rock Golden Years video, for those of you that want to see that, and then Suge versus TTop is clearly the battle that we are covering today. Dope battle, you know what I'm saying? I think one of the, at the time, you have TTop coming up in this, this is 2015, I'm pretty sure this went down, 2015 time, so definitely TTop's first initial run on URL, was doing a lot of great things when he first got into the league, obviously winning UFF, had Charlie Clips on Rookies versus Vets, and this is just a prime gatekeeper Suge example. I believe both of these men are going to be on the Redemption 2 card, so it's kind of cool to go back in time, cover their battle against each other, but all the talk aside, let's get right into the first round of breaking down this battle. So, to start off with the first round, T-Top opens up a little activism, moment of silence bar for all the things going on police brutality-wise in the world at that time. So, cool opener for sure, and then goes right into the, if he taps my, but the difference is, if he taps my pockets, I'm going to split his ish, you know what I'm saying? So, one of his, more known haymaker reactions from this battle, definitely, just solid opener all the way around. But what I will say is that this early T-Top, I think, was a little more prone to dry spots. Now, when he gets into his real talk bag, which we'll talk about in a little bit, there was a lot more of that, but then you ended up having these much more long-winded build-ups, and I think you get in here into his angle about Suge turning his back on his Crip brethren, you know what I'm saying, and then from there, I will never send mine alone to them. So he's touching on a couple different angles, Surf being in Detroit, things of that nature, but nothing too revolutionary. Obviously, an angle takes a longer build up. And then from there, he gets into the dry spot that I talked about where there's a lot of good jabbing, but the thing is, T-Top, just pure pen-wise, has never been one to just land like crazy, just like 2-bar, 4-bar haymakers just off a concept. Usually it goes through an angle, real talk. He's just not the biggest pen-heavy guy. So when he gets in his first round, that's mainly a punch round. The Dynamite bar, the Jimmy Carter bar, press a dent in his face, now he's Jimmy Carter. They're decent, but it just creates a dry spot after a while because you're waiting for the haymaker. And when it's just okay bar after okay bar, that, the crowd is obviously not going to go with it the longer it stays that way. And then he had a weird bar, the Cosby Did It bar, which for those of you that have seen that, you know what I'm saying, I know that probably is different, trying to be disrespectful, but, you know what I'm saying, a sexual assault bar is kind of crazy when you rapped it out loud. Even a couple people looked weird up there. But, nothing terrible. It's just that he had a pretty standard first round all the way around. So, beatable. That's really the word that I would think of rewatching it now and watching it then. And Suge's first round, for those of you that watched that battle, this is clearly his best round of the battle and just one of the better Suge rounds that you're going to find overall. I give him, like Snoop and JD, I'm going to give him the bow. That was fire. Headshot straight down, make him sit Indian style. Jesus. And that starts off really a chain haymaker kind of run here. This pump will make him get on up and knock the soul out of him. The James Brown bar, crazy. I wrote all I'm going to kill you shit like hate mail. Also super crazy. Bandana on the barrel, got it looking like a Swiffer mop. So as you guys can see right here, this is definitely a landslide first. I'm giving quotable after quotable. And that's the thing about Suge around this time is that he would always pack around, even if there's talk about Suge not winning battles, which I agree with around this time. Career-wise, he's always been on the more negative side of the record. And he kind of struggles always putting it across 3 rounds, but he'll almost always, in big-time, big-stage battles, give you a round like his first versus T-Top, where no matter what happens the rest of the battle, you know what I'm saying, that is definitely already a positive with such a great round to add to your catalog. The battle almost always is going to come out as a positive no matter the result. But for the first round, the money train bar to follow that and the pocket check that T-Top said he was going to split him for, just got pocket checked. Everything ended up working Suge's way momentum-wise, clearly utilized the stage a little bit better, which we'll get into in the second and the third round. But without a doubt, it was Suge 1-0 clear going into the second round. And then we get right into the second round, and this, in turn, is T-Top's best round of the battle. Definitely picked it up in a lot of ways. the big nose like Harley Quinn, I'm in love with the clown. You know, talk about his pistol. I thought that was definitely a dope opener. Smack, these vets are just a bunch of bitches with bars. Orange, the new black, super haymaker, probably his best bar of the battle. So right off rip, you know what I'm saying? Two of those things that might match with just some of the best stuff he said in this first round, and possibly the best bar he spit so far. And that's really how you come back when you go down a hard 1-0, especially as an underdog. You need to, in those first 16, have at least one or two haymakers really to just snatch that momentum right back and have it going your way. So he definitely does good there. I had a direct line to the plug like a phone charger, fire. Put Suge on the ground, and then talk about Suge's mom. Gave the bitch some sugar like I love her, which was definitely it was decent. But as you get to the second half of this round, something you notice, and I feel like battlers end up showing this without realizing it, is that TTop super speeds up his delivery, and he does this clapping thing where every time he's about to rap again after reaction, he starts clapping his hands, and it almost just comes off as a nervous tick. I can't say that it was, you know what I mean? But it's just a clear change in your delivery from the first round where I'm sure you started the battle comfortable, you let off, you're prepared for the battle. There's this whole change in energy, and yes, you want to up the aggression to fight back, but if you go too far, it looks like almost a little like he's trying a little too hard. It looks like you kind of know you're losing, like you know you have to catch up. And like I said, the material here is good, but as you get to the second half of the round, you can clearly see that he's rapping way quicker than he usually does. He's doing he's just doing that clapping thing over and over again, and it doesn't take off huge points. But the difference is like you go into something like Suge's second, and things he showed all three is that Suge is utilizing the stage, rapping at his own pace. He's rapping fast, but he's also slowing it down in other portions. There's clear control of his pace, and he's walking over to his side of the stage in front of his homies and his entourage. It just looks like, you know, T-Top's in one spot, clapping, catching up, and Suge is just comfortably utilizing the whole stage, which is something that I think across all three visually affects the way a fan judges the battle. As for Suge's second material-wise, he is the Biscuit gun line bar he'll be like Biscuit for crossing that gun line, which by now is OBC in 2015, you know what I'm saying? Gun line bars, you know, we're getting off. The Money and Violence bar was definitely dope. The streets don't know you, like that bitch that screamed Maybach, which is hilarious. The Light Rock bar, and he tried to play hardball until he got G-Babied. So those are the G-Baby bar, probably the best of the bunch, and overall, it's another decent round. I'd say out of all of Suge's three, it's probably my least favorite Suge round of this battle. I still think that the second is debatable. I would edge it to T-Top, even with the critiques I gave, which will play into a factor in the third round about stage usage and pace. This is clearly, you know what I'm saying, a young T-Top, so he was learning as he went. Going up against a great performer and Suge at this point in your career was not an easy task, and I think these lessons helped him in the long run. Obviously, following this, you get battles like T-Top versus Av, where he looks way, way more comfortable and kind of gives that lesson in reverse. So I do think the second is debatable, but I do think that T-Top did enough material-wise that even though he looked a little, you know what I'm saying, frazzled, I did edge it to him, therefore having it 1-1 going into the third. And then right into the third round, you really get a real talk or angle, really topic-based round from both in different ways. As for T-Top, he starts off really dry to start his third, in my opinion, and I think this is where the critiques the second, although the second was his best round, the material drops off, but not the pace and clapping issues that you see, kind of begging the crowd for reaction. Come on, you're going to respect me, you're going to respect me. And it, at times, you know, that's not bad. And I still think this ended up being a good showing for T-Top. You see how the community embraced him then. And even now to this day, there is, even though I don't think that there should be many, but there's a few people that give T-Top this battle. But he does start off the third, to me, with a lot of those flaws and a dry spot. He's wrapped his head like a Muslim bar, which is like just some really basic references, 3 or 4 just, I'm not going to say airballs because they're not terrible bars, but your bar can make sense and still just be eh. And I feel like there was just a lot of those to start this third. From there, he gets into the just satisfied my homies ain't wearing state clothes. And then he has this one great bar, the third, in my opinion. I'll have Suge in all red, like the 95 Source Awards. Very, very dope. And follow that up with a little death row scheme, which was cool. And then gets into a full real talk bag in his third that some of it hits, some of it isn't. It was more miscellaneous real talk than real talk with a purpose and an overarching, bar at the end. Look at the way he battled, a Snow, or look at the way he battled a Saga, where, the real talk ends up leading into still attacking material. If you're going to do real talk, there still has to be the battle aspect of it. And I feel like in the third, it just a flaw that I thought showed up a lot in this particular battle for T-Top and ended up being a learning experience is just rapping to a point. you don't want to get to the point that anyone's considering things filler or a dry spot. And I think in the first and the third of this battle, he struggled with that. And then Suge comes back with a third, once again, controlling the stage on the porch with 230s. They foam posits, dope. And then he gets into the big angle at the time, TTop's mother on drugs. Everybody talked about this early in his career to the point TTop kind of leaned on it to selling to his mom, which is an angle in itself. It's just this early TTop stuff, and one of the first times where if you haven't seen this battle, if you're a newer fan, you may think, oh, like people always kind of overuse the angle versus TTop, but this is when it was fresh. And Suge did some of the best work that you're going to get with it. Put needles in her body. I'm not a voodoo doctor. Crazy. She go head first in the drugs like a scuba diver. You know, it's all hitting crazy. Pull up on her like a Uber driver. Show her what to do with the work like a supervisor, and each one of them hit. I will say the voodoo doctor and scuba diver bars are probably structurally better than the final two, but overall, by the time he hit this angle and rhythm, you know, it was clear he's calling out Hitman on the stage, things of that nature. Hide him kill him and then hide him underground like El Chapo. So not the most craziest, you know what I'm saying, pen stuff, not the most complex, but when you combine the fluid performance, he looks way more comfortable. And the voodoo, like, these are not bad bars either. Even if you feel like TTop wrote a little more complex, Suge is still writing very, very good material. It's hitting and connecting heavier. And for me, it makes the third round, similar to the first of this battle, non-debatable. And that's why I give this battle to Shotgun Suge 2-1 clear first and third. And that is, you know, the full flashback review for TTop versus Shotgun Suge. Maybe a little bit more of a random battle to put up, but that's kind of what I like to do with flashback reviews. We could always do like the top classics, and we do those. And obviously, I've seen a couple suggestions. I know some people want Tay-Rock versus Hollow to get done. So that's something I plan on doing in the future. But just to wrap in with the Redemption card, you know what I'm saying, Redemption 2 happening, I thought it would be good. And I know I probably talked a little fast here trying to really give the analysis, because I think sometimes we have a hard time. Either fans will score just lines, like just the bars, or some people will say like completely overruled, like no, the performance fully overrules. I think that there's points to each of it. You know what I'm saying? You look at a TTop second, clearly he's getting outperformed, but I think he did enough that round out material-wise to kind of nullify that margin. As you get into the third, that flips around. Suge is still winning the performance side, but he evens it up way more in the material side, therefore giving him that round clear. So just judging the different facets, you know, an angler versus a heavy performer, I just thought it was an interesting one to break down. You guys let me know in the comments below, who do you think won between TTop and Shotgun Suge? I know some people had TTop, like I said, so I'd love to hear your explanation if you do. But overall, dope battle. Waiting for the Redemption 2 card to fully drop. Full predictions will be coming out on that. Full predictions will also be coming out for the Chrome 23 anniversary card when that fully drops. So, you know, just waiting for a couple more things to drop. But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, let me know who you feel won the battle. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.